Awesome. And so if you like me to be able to take a little peek at what's going on, you can have your video on. Otherwise, off is totally cool. And yeah, whenever you're ready, you can make your way on down. So we are starting either on the long roller, so our whole spine will be on that, or you can do it with the blanket. Like I said, you're just hopping on. You could take your blanket and roll it the long way, and just make sure your head is supported. Okay, and even if you do go the roller route, if you lay down and then it feels uncomfortable in your neck or your head, you can actually take your like towel or blanket or something and put a little cushioning under it. See, feel around for what feels most comfortable for you. And then take a moment once you arrive and see if you can spread your toes out. So you want to sense and feel all 10 toes connecting to the mat. Feel your entire foot settling on the mat. Okay. And then we're going to go arms up like this for our first kind of cycles of breath here. And the shoulder blades are lifting up and around. So it's like you're not giving it a huge full effort where your shoulders are hiking up towards your ears, but you are like thinking of your rib cage pulling back into the roller and your shoulder blades wrapping. So that's like some shoulder protraction there. So we're going to take a breath in. Try to send the breath or think about the breath going into your back, like between your shoulder blades. And then exhale. Get all that air out. You can do our CH exhale or blow out your birthday candles. Think of your rib cage pulling back into the roller as your arms keep reaching up. So we breathe in, fill up the back of the body. And we breathe out and we reach. Okay, so it's a significant reach up. You might even feel a stretch between your shoulder blades and around that area. Okay, so maybe one or two more. And then we're going to bend the elbows and bring them all the way down to the ground, which if you're on the roller is potentially kind of far away. Now in this position, make sure that your mid back is on the roller, and we'll say you might tuck your pelvis under a little bit, not like squeezing your glutes or anything like that, but just slightly turning your belt buckle towards your face. So more of your lower back is connected to the roller. That even might give you some hamstring. And then our objective here is to get the breath under the collarbone, so into the chest. Okay, so that's not up in the neck and shoulders. It's this area right under the collarbone. So I think it's helpful to sometimes breathe out first, get all the air out. And now our chest is open. Try not to breathe into the belly. Try to inflate and feel for this chest rising as you breathe in, and then exhaling. Front ribs hug in, spine stays glued to the roller. I hold a little tension in my core, and then I send the breath right back into the chest. Try to be slow and gradual and kind of soft with it in terms of the inhale, because if you try to do it big and abrupt, you might just end up kind of like feeling like you're suffocating or something, like you're filling up your face. We don't want to be like squeezing or tensing the neck. So it's a gradual filling right into the chest. We'll do 2 or 3 more. It might start to feel tight in your chest because in terms of the breath, because you're filling up so much that you feel like it's stretching out a bit. Nice job. Okay. From here, we're going to keep the right arm down on the ground and reach the left arm straight up, and then bring your right knee over your right hip. Okay, so left foot's on the floor, right hand is on the floor. Take a moment and solidify the connection of your spine to the roller, especially like the mid back. Okay, and then we're going to reach the right leg forward, the left arm back, and then bring them back to center. Now, try to go as slow as possible and try to minimize any rocking back and forth on the roller. So like if you start to be able to brace those abs a bit, like someone was going to punch you in the stomach here, and then you try not to move around on the roller, then you're going to get a lot more out of it. Okay. This is going to require like extra stabilization efforting. Good. So we're trying not to even rock gently side to side or anything like that on the roller. Awesome. And then we'll bring the right foot down, left hand down, left knee halfway up, right arm up, and we'll do the same thing. So they're really slow and controlled and mindful. Priority is spine staying fixed, core staying solid, and then we'll move the arm and leg around that. So if you start feeling like a rocking side to side, or you start feeling your pelvis untucking or your mid back popping up, right? Try to dial down the range of motion. Try to focus on the stabilization in the core and the spine, and then move around that. It might not be perfect. That's okay. Just something to think about. Nice job. After this one, bring the right hand down. And now see if you can bring your right knee up to meet your left. So if you're on the roller, make sure you don't take your hands off the ground so you don't roll off. Okay. From here, we're going to go ahead and flex the ankles. The knees are directly over the hips. And now, without arching your back, so you want to definitely be mindful here. Without arching your back, you're going to reach your right heel in the direction of the ground. It might not necessarily actually reach the ground. You start to feel your spine or pelvis wanting to change position, then just come right back up. You might reach the ground though. See kind of what works. We're not changing the angle of the knee. So your knee stays at that 90-degree angle the whole time. Then you reach a heel towards the ground, maybe tap, maybe don't, and then come back up. Still, priority is not letting that pelvis dump forward. Make sure you're staying with your breath. You definitely can brace these abs here, especially as you reach towards the ground. Sometimes it's nice to exhale on the eccentric. So that's when you're reaching your heel towards the floor, can sometimes help you find the tension we're looking for. You should definitely start to feel the core muscles working, definitely by now. And there might be one leg that feels, or one side that feels like harder for some reason. That's pretty typical. Let's get one more on each side. Perfect. And then we'll bring the feet down. And then I forgot to mention to have your dumbbells nearby. So I got to go get mine, but we're going to do something with our dumbbells while we're here. I really like doing it when we're like elevated on something for the chest and the pec muscles. But grab both of your dumbbells, however you got to go get them. And then still staying connected to the feet. Make sure those feet are spread. Yeah, don't take the feet up off the ground once you got your dumbbells in your hand and you're reaching up, because we got to have some contact on the ground. And then all we're going to do here is open the arms up toward open the arms so the palms face the ceiling. Let them go maybe even a little further than the roller till you feel a stretch, and then bring them together. So still trying not to roll around, but I do want you to see if you can find kind of a feel good stretch. Don't go too far that something feels off, but you can definitely go a little lower than the roller if that feels okay. If it doesn't feel okay, then you can stop here and come back together. So it's really up to you kind of how far you go. Keep your elbows soft, lengthen, and then bring them together. Lengthen, open, maybe go further towards the floor, and then come back up. And even as you do this, think about your shoulder blades staying wide. So like it's tempting to really just think of your shoulders like wrapping around the roller as you open. That's not bad or wrong, but think about actually they're going to wrap a little, but think about them getting pulled apart east to west. So like your wingspan is getting bigger, the area between your shoulder blades is getting wider. How wide can we kind of make our rib cage? That's kind of what we're thinking about here. Maybe one more. Awesome job. Okay. And then we'll put the dumbbells down. We'll roll off nice and careful. We'll move the roller to the side. We've just got a couple of things on the mat. Want to get the hamstrings and glutes warmed up a little bit. So grab your yoga block now. And we're going, oh, actually, let's do a couple of windshield wipers, just a little bit of a reset before we keep going. So arms out in a T, palms up, and then knees go left, head looks right, knees look left, head, or knees go oppositional. So head going one way, knees are going the other. Okay. Then we're going yoga block right between the inner thighs. I'm going to throw in a little bit of rotation here, nice and quick. So keep the feet planted, palms face up towards the ceiling, squeezing the block a bit. Left arm's going to come up. Head is going to turn towards the right, and your chin's going to come up towards your chest. And you're going to try to reach your left fingertips towards your right fingertips. See if you can get them at like as close as possible, but keep the left hip on the ground and then unwind, open up. So then right hand comes up and over, right hand reaches towards left. Try to keep the right hip on the ground. If for some reason this bothers your neck, you could do it with your head on the floor. You don't actually have to lift your head. It's just you're not going to go as far in your reach if you don't pick the head up, but that's totally fine. So we're trying to rotate the rib cage one direction and not the pelvis. So there's definitely a rib cage pelvis counter rotation, trying to stay connected through the core. And I do think you end up getting more oblique awareness and connection if you actually think about the counter rotation situation. So if I'm picking my left hand up and I'm reaching it towards my right, I'm thinking about my sternum turning to the right, and I'm thinking about my pelvis, my jean zipper turning to the left, and then things kind of start to light up in my core. Okay, we'll do one more, and then we'll relax. Okay, from here, let's grab a dumbbell. We're gonna do some single leg work here. So hugging the block, feet are down on the ground. We're going body weight into the right foot and lift your left heel for right now. So the left toe's on the floor, but your body weight's going to go through your right foot. We're going to tuck the pelvis and lift the hips up. Okay, so it's kind of like a single leg bridge, but you still have some connection to your left tip toe on the ground. We're squeezing the block, the body weight's in the right leg. Okay, we're going to reach the arm up, and then two options for an ISO. We're going to hold the ISO for 5 breaths. Option 1 is to stay like this and just reach your arm about halfway back with a soft elbow. So option 1 is to stay loaded in your right leg, reach this left arm halfway back, tuck your pelvis, drag your heel towards your butt, squeeze your block. Option 2 is this plus extending your left leg straight ahead. Okay, so either one, we've got 5 breaths. If you lifted the leg, don't let your left hip drop. Still squeezing the block. Arm is about halfway back, softening through that elbow. Good. Relax the face. Should be pretty challenging. After 5 breaths, if your left leg was lifted, you can bring the toe down, the arm forward, and we'll bring the hips down. Okay. Now we're going to think of the single leg bridge. You're going to push through your right foot, lift up, reach back, and then hips down as arm comes forward. So 2 options for this as well. Technically, I guess 3 options. So option 1 is to keep your left hip toe on the ground and just rock back and forth. Hips up, arm back, hips down, arm forward, loading the right leg as much as possible, okay? Option 2 is to do that with your left foot hovering off the floor. So same exact thing, but now you have no connection to your left toe. It's gonna feel harder. Option 3, which I don't know, it might not be that fun, but actually it's not too bad, is to extend the left leg the whole time. So it's hips up, arm back, and that left leg is extended. We're squeezing the yoga block. So lots of inner thigh connection throughout this whole movement. Any of those options are good. You can even mix and match if you want to do a couple of reps of the more challenging variation and then go back to the milder one. That's cool too. Do one more. Awesome. Stick the dumbbell into the right hand, shift your body weight into your left foot, come onto your right tiptoe, tuck under at the pelvis, lift those hips, okay? So, squeezing the block, okay? We're not lifting the hips super high. They're maybe like an inch or two. Arm goes back with a soft elbow, okay? Option to keep your right foot on the floor, squeezing the block. Option to extend your right leg straight ahead, still squeezing the block, getting that left inner thigh really kicking on. Could turn your hips a tiny bit to the left to make sure that your hips weren't dumping to the right. Stay with the breath. Keep the face relaxed. Nice. Then arm comes forward, foot comes down, hips come down. And then we're going to do the single leg bridges. So you can either keep the right tiptoe on the floor and roll up and down, or you can hover the foot, roll up and down, or you can extend the leg. Any of those options are all good. Make sure you're really driving through this left foot. None of the toes are lifting. Should be a nice combo of left inner thigh, left hamstring, left glute. Staying with the breath. And then relax. So take a moment, lose the block, lose the dumbbell, knees come in towards us. Let's pull them apart and then start to circle. But you can do kind of like a nice inner thigh pull apart here if that feels good. And we'll go maybe 4 or 5 circles in each direction. Yeah, that's perfect. Just lotioning the hips a bit, massaging out the lower back. We'll go both directions. Beautiful. Okay, and then we'll roll over, and today we're gonna head right into tabletop. So just make sure you have like good knee padding. Maybe get a sip of water, whatever you like. And then we are gonna have yoga blocks nearby, dumbbells nearby, a couple of things here. So spread the palms. We're just gonna be flat on the mat at first. Okay, spread the palms. They're directly under the shoulders. Knees are under the hips. Okay. As we shift our hips straight back, make sure your sits bones are slightly lifted. Okay, so the butt can spread out as we rock backwards. You're towards the outer edge of your hands. Then as you rock forward, you're pushing into your pointer finger and thumb mound. Okay, so you rock straight back, outer edge of the hands, and then you rock forward, inner edge of the hands. See if you can do maybe 5 or 6. So outer edge is kind of like towards the mound of the pinky and like literally the outer edge of the hand. And then the inner edge is the pointer finger and thumb mound, and they push into the floor. Yeah, good. Very nice. And then see if you can shift your hips to the left and rock your left glute back towards your left heel, and then rock forward towards loading your left hand. You can even take your right hand off the ground for this one if you want to, but you don't have to. Try not to tuck the pelvis, and we're still doing that little hand awareness practice. So as I rock back, outer edge, as I rock forward, inner edge. Good. And then you can bring the right hand down. Same thing, option to take the left hand off the floor. Rocking back, outer edge, rocking forward, inner edge. It actually will warm up some of like tissues and muscles through the hand and the wrist nicely. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. First one we got here, we're going to kind of really get into our serratus and our core. So I'm going to give you a couple options. We're going to bring a yoga block down under the shoulder. We're going to do it today on our forearm because I just want to make sure sometimes people's wrists, like you could do what we're about to do on your hand, but just to make sure everyone is good with it, we'll do it on the forearm. I'm kind of on the side, like the pinky side edge of my forearm, but you could play between flat palm and pinky side edge. In my body, the pinky side edge just feels a lot better. And we'll do this with our knees down, and then I'll give you the option to do it with your knees up. Okay, so bring your right forearm on the ground next to your, so my left one's on my yoga block and my right one's on the ground. okay? Now, don't tuck your pelvis, stick your butt up slightly, retract your belly button. You're gonna drive through your yoga block with the outer edge of that left forearm, drive through the block and push away from the floor. So my right arm is now like an inch or two above my left arm. And then I tap my right arm back to the ground, and then I push away from my yoga block to lift my right arm up. So from the front, it looks like this. I'm here, and then I push through the block to lift up. So we're activating these serratus muscles, all these muscles around the shoulder blade and the core, okay? So try to do maybe 4 or 5 of these, slow and controlled, really push away from the block. Okay, we're not hiking our shoulder up towards our ear to make this happen. Okay, if you want, you're going to tuck your toes, lift your knees. You might surprise yourself and you'll be able to do it with your knees up. It's significantly harder, so maybe only do a couple. That's fair. A lot of work for that serratus. Perfect. Okay, so we did that left arm, and then we're going to come back up onto our palms. Slide the yoga block out of the way for now. Perfect. Tuck the toes, push away from the floor, keep the collarbones pointing straight ahead, lift the knees an inch off the ground. Inhale, reach your hips back. Exhale, propel forward. Inhale, butt back. Not necessarily up, but back. Exhale, propel forward. See if you can go 3 more. Sits bones lifted, collarbones lifted. Core nice and responsive. Perfect. Knees come to the ground. We'll rock our hands in towards our knees. We'll take a moment to round the spine, roll it all on up. We'll swirl it out, or maybe just shake out your left arm a little bit, just a little bit of a reset. And then we'll do those serratus presses on the other side. You can come back to your hands. Now the yoga block comes under your right forearm. So you're on the side of the right forearm. My left forearm's on the ground, like that, okay? So I'll do it diagonal here. Let's go like this. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think you can see. So now warm it up with your knees down. So collarbones lift, right? Push through the yoga block. Left arm comes up and down. Up and down. Good. See how that feels? You might stay with this, okay? Because it's pretty tricky. You might stay with that, right? Up and down. If you want, you can then lift your knees off the ground and try to do it like that. See how it goes. Keep driving through the block. Don't let your right shoulder hike up towards your ear. And then relax. Knees can come down. Perfect. We're going to slide the yoga block out of the way. Palms are under the shoulders this time. So now tuck the toes, same thing as before. Lift your knees an inch off the floor, but this time we're going to rock the hips back to the left, and then launch forward to your right hand. So your body weight's more in your right hand. Then shift your hips back to the right and launch to the left. So hips back to the left, launch to the right, hips back to the right, launch to the left. So we're playing with different weight distribution. Back to the right, over to the left, back to the left, over to the right. Beautiful. We'll go knees down, untuck the toes. We're going to grab our dumbbells, both dumbbells, walk the hands to the knees, round the spine, roll it on up. We got our tall kneeling here. Okay, so just to kind of remind everyone about this, there's a difference between sending the hips back to the heels, sitting down like that, and then sending the butt back like I'm trying to slam a door shut with my butt, okay? So we're not going to be doing this, sitting the butt down to the heels. We're trying to send the butt back like you're shutting a door, but without letting ourselves face plant, okay? But we're going to bring the dumbbells to the shoulders. Okay, I think this one's kind of fun. I think you could do it with your toes tucked, but I just think it feels, you get so much more range if you have them untucked. So if you're able to untuck the toes, Dumbbells are at the shoulders. Okay, we're going to drive the butt back, drive it back, but think of pulling the ground apart with the knees, spread out the glutes, and then we're gonna drive the weight straight up as our hips come forward. So hips go back, and then hips drive forward. You know, I actually like the word drive for coming forward more. So think about lengthening the hips back, we'll say. So lengthen them back and then drive up. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So you can go kind of slow on the wind up on the way back, and then put your kind of driving the dumbbells straight up towards the ceiling. Try to drive from your core. Yeah, there's a difference if you think of just your shoulders doing this or if your core is involved. Good. And there's like, we're not sitting down and driving up, we're sitting back. So it's almost like I'm trying to get my belly button to face the floor, and then I drive up. Okay, maybe one or two more. Beautiful. And then we'll be nice and warmed up for our swings. So let's throw the dumbbells off of our shoulders out in front of us, swing the arms back, and then pull them towards us. Yep. So you give yourself time, throw them away, swing back, pull them towards. Okay. Throw them away, swing back, pull them towards. If I want a challenge, I can take a step, and then I can come back, throw them off, pull them towards. Come back, throw them off, take a step. So a couple of options there. See what works for you. See if you can get like 4 or 5 more. Perfect. Nice job. Okay. And then we'll lose the dumbbells. Bring the hands back to the mat. Come back into tabletop. Spread through the palms. Toes tuck. Send the hips up and back to your downward facing dog. Try to get the hips as far back as possible, like you're lengthening your spine as much as possible. Good. We'll bend into one knee and the other. Walking the dog out a little bit. And then we're going to go feet to hands at the top of the mat, softening the knees. We're going to go with one dumbbell today. Take one up with us. You can put it the horizontal way in between both hands, rounding through the feet, and then rolling all the way on up to standing. Perfect. Okay, so once we arrive, we got our dumbbell here. We're spreading the toes, trying to ground down, root down through the feet, and then see if you can shift your body weight from side to side. So what is it like to be over my left side? What is it like to be over my right side? Taking our time, there's really no rush. Love it. And then we're evening out the weight between the feet, okay? Taking a nice inhale. When we do that, we're thinking of lifting the rib cage up off the pelvis, getting longer through our whole spine, little bit of core bracing, like some little stiffening here, okay? Keep that as you reach your dumbbell up. Keep that as you side bend a little to the right and a little to the left. It's a tension side bend though, like it's not like a noodly side bend. Tension side bend. Good, should still feel like a mild stretch. So about 3 on each side. And then you can bend your elbows, bring the dumbbell behind the head. And I want you to pretend the dumbbell was like 15 or 20 pounds. It's not, but just kind of pretend that it's heavy, because that might help you get the connection of what we're doing. So now soften the knees, tuck your pelvis. So think belt buckle towards face, and then shift your weight towards the balls of your feet. Your body weight goes forward, okay? You don't necessarily need to lift your heels. You could, but you don't have to. But think of weight going towards the toes, okay? Then think of shifting your hips forward, but don't like flare your ribs out of your body. Keep your kind of ribs together, but shift as much of the front of your body that way as possible. Then pretend your 15 or 20-pound weight is trying to pull you back, okay? Take a few breaths here. So we're trying to connect the front of our body and the back of our body. Keep shifting, letting that dumbbell pull us back. Find your weight in your heels, reach up, and then control all the way down. Nice job. Okay, we're going to do kind of a slow, controlled movement, and then we're going to make it quick and dynamic. So it's going to kind of resemble a chop. So take your dumbbell, both hands, outside your left hip. We're going to go with the left leg in front. Okay, left leg in front, right foot in back, right heel up. It's about 1.5 steps behind. Okay, soften your left knee and let it shift over the middle of your left foot. Then shift your body weight with that. So if I just do the knee, but I'm still in my right leg, that's not it. Got to get the body weight over the left. Keep the collarbones facing forward. Keep your dumbbell outside your left hip and start to send your butt back. So this is gonna, sorry, when I said collarbone forward, I just mean don't round your upper back, but it's okay. You're gonna rotate. The dumbbell is outside your left hip, so you're gonna have to turn your sternum to the left a little bit, okay? Just to clarify that. So the sternum turns to the left, and so does my jean zipper a bit. So everything's to the left, and I'm loading up this left glute and hamstring, okay? From here, yep, this is part is slow, loading it up. From here, I'm gonna take a step forward and bring my dumbbell like right above my right shoulder, and it rotates me a little to the right. Then I'm gonna drop my left heel down, step back. This part, I want you to do it slowly so you can really get into your left glute and left hamstring and load up your rotated left. Then you can step forward, kind of like a chopping variation. I'm going hip to like right above my shoulder. Outside of the hip, send the butt back, find all your tensions right above the shoulder, okay? Nice job. So then, this one's like hingy, and then we step forward. Now, if you want, you can try to, instead of taking a step, bring your knee up to your chest. So I hinge, and then I'm trying to balance here. Hinge, trying to balance on one leg. Right knee comes up, butt back, and my knee comes up. I do think the dumbbell actually helps with the balance. We kind of talked about that the other day. Good. But now it's going to feel probably more work for this left leg because you never really get a break from it. Okay, and then we got one more. While our brain has all this crossing, chopping stuff in mind, while we have it, let's do this one more lunging variation. So instead of a hinge, the dumbbell stays the same outside the left hip. Instead of a hinge, we're going to drop down into more of a lunge, okay? And then one option is to step forward and sink into it a little bit as you chomp, and then come back. And the second option is to drop down into a lunge. So you would go lunge to lunge, okay? So from the front, you'd go lunge to lunge, lunge to lunge, or lunge to little step, lunge to little step. So see, you can do a few of those. Perfect. And then shake it out. Maybe shake out the left leg. Maybe swirl it out. Let the breath settle, the heart rate settle a little bit. Very nice. And then we're going to play with all that going the other way. So now the dumbbell is going to be outside the right hip, right foot on the ground, left foot back, left heel up, about 1.5 steps back. Right knee is over middle of foot. Body weight is over middle of foot. Dumbbells outside the right hip. So that means I have to turn my body to the right, but I'm not rounding my upper back, okay? Good. Driving the butt back. So this is back to a hinge, okay? So length through the back of this leg. Yep. And then you take a step. This comes right above the left shoulder. Outside the hip, right above the shoulder. Lengthen and propel forward. Nice job. If you want, then you can practice the balance one. So still hinging, still lengthening, butt back to like a bit of a knee drive. Okay, just don't jut your hips forward like this. It's really common that hips end up in front of the body when we do this. Try to keep your hips back. Okay, butt back and to a knee drive. See how that goes. And then the last one, okay, is gonna be that lunge. So now it's a more kind of upright elevator lunge if possible. If you need to lean forward a little, it's no big deal. You're gonna go outside the hip, drop down, and then step forward. You're in charge of how far you drop down on the second lunge. So you might only go a little bit, or you might go all the way down. Definitely a little bit more of a balance challenge, gets the heart rate up more continuous. Nice job. Beautiful. Yeah, if for some reason knees didn't like this one, you could make it a little hingier. You could kind of drop down there and then just do a step. Okay, so that's an option if they didn't like that angle. Okay, beautiful. And then when you're ready, we're gonna be at the top of the mat. Okay, we'll look up, look down, round the spine, roll it on down, plant the palms, step back to high plank, option to drop the knees down or not. And then we're gonna lower all the way down onto our belly, make a nice pillow for the forehead, bend the knees, gently sway the legs side to side, let the whole body settle. We'll come back to a more like calmer state. Probably not coming all the way back to baseline, but getting there, just slowing things down a bit. And then we're going to work on the one we worked on Friday. So I like to cue it in layers, and you don't necessarily need to go to the next layer. You can kind of stop at layer 1 or layer 2. Okay. It is challenging, but it's really good for like our postural muscles that we want working. So just kind of give it your best shot. Doesn't need to be perfect. Okay. So the setup, we're on our bellies. Our hands are wide. I want them pretty wide. So like wider than the mat. So they are next to the chest, but even wider than your shoulders. Okay. I think that helps with this. And then the biggest thing is that your knees have to stay on the ground. So everyone wants to try to lift their knees up with this one, but just take a moment, connect your brain to your knees. They're going to be pushing into the floor, actually. Okay. So my toes are tucked under and my knees are pushing into the floor. Okay. I could have my head on my blanket if I wanted my head down. Eventually, I'm going to cue you to lift your head up. So if you're okay with it up, just kind of start with it up. Otherwise, you can have it down. Either way, it's fine. So push your knees into the floor and let your pelvis come up off the ground. So once I push my knees down, you'll feel it. Your hips come away from the floor a bit, okay? Then this is layer 1, is to try to take the arch out of your low back here. So this is a place where you can really work on a posterior tilt using your hamstrings and your lower belly to pull your pelvis under you. Okay, so if I don't want to have my butt sticking up in the air, I want to try to take the arch out of my lower back. From there, layer 2 would be trying to hover my hands, okay? And then if I can, keep my head lifted. So the idea is try to tuck under and then try to use your mid-back, bra strap area muscles, like those low traps, to pull your chest and your head up. Keep your hands as wide as possible. Breathe into your rib cage. Imagine your belly button pulling off the floor as you exhale. Stay tucked under. The wider the hands, I really think the better. Might even give you some lat, which would be awesome. The shoulders stay away from the ears, but they stay wide. Maybe only a few breaths here. It's pretty hard. And then relax. Make your pillow for your forehead. Bend the knees. Gently sway the legs side to side. Let all that go. So like I said, doesn't need to be perfect. Even if you just attempted it, like you're heading in the right direction. Okay. I don't have a name for this. It's kind of like a low cobra, low trap work. I don't know. We'll have to come up with a name for it. But let's do it one more time. Okay. So toes are tucked, knees push into the floor, pelvis lifts up. Right now I could have my hands down, tuck my pelvis. So this might be where some of you stay, where your hands actually stay on the floor. And you just work on taking the arch out of your lower back and retract your belly button. If you want, then you can hover the hands and try to keep lifting with your mid back. So try to get like your chest and your head up a little bit. But again, you might even have your head resting on something. So feel free to experiment a little. We want to feel the core and the mid back. Okay, if you feel the area lower than your shoulder blades in the prostrap area working, you're good. Keep driving your knees through the ground. Relax the face, and then take a rest. We'll make our pillow for our forehead. We'll just kind of dance or shake out the hips here. That's perfect. Then we're planting the palms next to the chest, not super wide, just regular. Tucking the toes, driving up, knee push up all the way up. You can rock your hips back and forth once or twice, or shift the hips side to side. A little bit of a reset, and then we're climbing up on our blocks. We'll go with one hand on each block, tucking the toes, sending the hips up and back to downward dog, walking the feet together, and then send the left leg. We're going to go left leg first, left leg up and back. We're going to rock forward, draw the knee towards the nose, around the spine, breathe into the back, reach the leg back, and then this time when you come forward, step the left foot forward in between your hands, move your yoga blocks to the highest height. Okay, now we're in our long lunge stance, and we're going to come onto a tightrope or a narrowed stance. Okay, so you decide. You can either have your right toes directly in line with your left heel or just a more narrowed position. Okay, either one is fine. From there, we're taking our hands off of our blocks and bringing our torso up, but we're in a hinge. So I want you leaning your body over your left leg. If you feel like your right leg is just too far back, you can bring it in a little, but keep it as long as possible. Okay, we're going to relax the arms, try to untuck a bit, find this left glute, load it over the left leg. Today, we're going to work on our vestibular stuff, but we're going to keep the eyes focused on a spot in front of you that's not moving and turn the head. So Friday, we just turned the head and kept the eyes going with it. Today, you're going to keep your eyes fixed and then turn your head left and right. Okay, so it's like you're shaking your head no in slow motion and keeping your eyes fixed on a spot in front of you that's not moving. You want more challenge, lift your left heel, but that's not totally necessary. Awesome job. Okay, perfect. That's all we're going to do with the inline position. So then you can bring your hands back to your blocks and you can widen your stance again. So it's regular. We're probably going to need, actually definitely going to need some balance help for the next one. So try to grab your tall foam roller, or you can just come up and we'll grab a wall or something. Either one is fine. If I have my roller, I'm going to put it under my right hand or back of a chair, wall, something you can balance on. If I had two things to hold on to, I might hold on to both. Okay. So for this, your left knee, okay, is over your left heel. So I don't want it to go forward for this. I want it to stay parked over the heel. Okay. My roller is pretty far from me. I'm going to draw my right knee in and then reach the toe, tap the floor. Draw the knee in. Now, the common thing that people do is they start to tuck under at the pelvis as the knee pulls in. Don't move your pelvis. The other thing is they'll drop the right hip and it kind of makes it go out of the left glute. This should be like demolishing the left glute. Okay, the pelvis doesn't move, the hip bones stay level. The pelvis doesn't tuck, it doesn't shift. The left knee stays parked over the left heel. Good job. Okay, from there, we're going to stand it on up. Okay, we'll shake out the left leg a bit. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to go into our sliders. So grab whatever you like to slide on your floor, blanket, towel, sock. If you're on carpet, I think paper plates or Tupperware work pretty well. And we got a 3-part slider, okay? So I'm going to keep my left foot on my mat, and I'm going to have my right foot under my slider. I'll show you this angle, and then I'll show you facing you as well. So we're going to go softening the left knee and slide forward. So I'm sitting into like a bit of a lunge here, a little bit of a squat actually. And my right foot goes straight ahead at like 12 o'clock. And I send my butt back, okay? Then I'm going to drag it in, okay? Then I'm going to go out to the side, think like 3 o'clock, okay? So I go out into my side lunge. I push the left foot through the mat as I drag my right foot in. And then I lift my right heel. This is the only one where the right heel comes up. And I'm going to go into my lunge. I'm going to bend my back knee. I'm a pretty upright for this one. And then I'm going to pull the ground together with my feet. So the first one, the foot goes straight ahead. We'll call it 12 o'clock. My butt goes back a bit. And then I drag it in. Then I'm going to go out to the side. Push through the ground with that left foot. I think that's really helpful for the side one. And then we're going to stay pretty upright. Bend the back knee. Slide back. And then drag it in. Okay. So from the front, it might look like this. I go forward. You're in charge of how deep you sit. I go side. You're in charge of how deep you sit. Okay. And then back is where you have to lift the heel. We're staying pretty straight up and down in terms of like it's more of an elevator lunge for that one. So see if you can do like maybe 2 more all around the clock. For the front one, I think we don't do that often in this class, this motion. So think of your butt sitting back and your knee going towards your second toe, your left side, I mean. Your left butt sitting back and your left knee going towards your second toe. Pull in, out to the side, drag in, and then back, drag in. Awesome job. Okay, those are sliders. And then we just got one more thing here. We're going to do some jump squats and weighted. Okay, so grab your dumbbells. Okay, you don't have to do them with the dumbbells, but I kind of like it. Okay, and we're going to sit down into a squat. Okay, you can go butt back, chest up, and you can do as big or small of a jump out of it. So you're going to go down, you're going to do a jump and sink into it. You can do a big jump and sink into it, or you can do a baby jump and sink into it. If you don't want to jump, lift the heels and sink into it. Lift the heels, sink into it. So plenty of options. Nice job. So good for the bones. Okay, really good for the bones. And it gets the heart rate up quite a bit, even just a couple of them. Try to absorb force here. We're letting our body kind of yield, letting the tissues go. Beautiful. Okay, from there, we're on our mat. We're going to look up, look down, round the spine, roll down, plant the palms, step back, high plank, control the knees to the mat, find your child's pose. So any child's pose variation that you need right now, let the whole body get heavy and settled. Let the breath slow down, the heart rate come down. Take a few moments. When you're ready, we're climbing back up on the block, tucking the toes, bending the hips up and back, downward dog. Feet come together. Right leg goes up and back. Make sure it's the right. Rounding the spine, knee to nose, come forward, rock the weight forward. Bending the leg up and back. And then on the second one, step the right foot forward, right in between your hands. Yoga blocks, come to the highest height to help get situated. We're organizing the feet so that you're either on your tightrope or in a narrowed stance. So now you kind of know what to expect, so you can kind of make that decision. And then you're going to take your hands off your blocks and keep your trunk loaded over this right leg. Sits bones are slightly lifted, so we're in a baby anterior tilt here. Belly button retracted, arms are relaxed. Okay. This time, we're going to keep the head stationary. Try not to move the head, and you're going to move your eyeballs left and right. So imagine you had to balance a cup of water on your head, and then just move your eyeballs. Doing our best not to fall over. Looking left and right. I won't do too many. And then we'll bring the hands back to the blocks. Set up the feet so they're more hips width apart. And then we'll come back on up. This is where we're going to take our roller or wall or something to hold on to for some balance help with 1 or 2 hands. This is where we want the right knee parked over the right heel. It doesn't go forward, okay? Start to really shift your weight onto your right leg. Draw your left knee in and then reach it back. The priority is not how far the left knee can come in, though. The priority is not tucking the pelvis and not dropping the left hip and keeping the right knee over the right heel. Okay. So that's what's going to give you the glute. If we're moving the tucking and untucking or moving the spine or dropping that left hip, you're not really going to get as much out of it. Okay. So we're definitely hinged. Keep reaching the butt back. Should really light up that right glute. Kind of crazy. Yeah, it should be like, holy moly. Okay. And then when you're good with that, you can shake out the right leg. And we're going to go for our 3-part slider. Okay. So stick the slider under the left foot now. I'm going to keep my right foot on my mat. Both heels are down. So as I slide straight ahead, my knee bends towards my second toe and I sit my butt back. It's a little hingy, and then I drag it in, okay? Then I go out to the side. Same thing, butt back, knee bends, more of a side lunge. Then I drive my right foot through the ground as I come in, and then I'm going to start to slide back, staying pretty upright, bending that back knee, and then dragging it in, okay? So you can go at your own pace. Didn't really mention what the arms are doing, but they can kind of do whatever you want here. Maybe stay on your hips. You can reach forward. You can reach up. Kind of experiment a little bit. And if for some reason one of these angles wasn't working for you, you could just skip that angle and do the other two back and forth. Nice job. Okay, and then we'll shake that out. We got one more thing, and then we're going to wind everything down. So grab your 2 dumbbells. So this time, you could do the same squats we did last time. So that was bilateral. Or if you want more of a challenge, you can do a jumping lunge instead. So last time we went down, jumped up, sunk into it, or just lifted the heels. You can stick with that, or stick one foot in front, one foot in back, drop down, switch the feet, switch the feet, switch the feet. So you're still sinking into it, but now switching the feet. Okay. Or I guess you could also just not switch the feet, sink into it, do a few on one side, and then do a few on the other side. Nice job. Yeah, just a couple. Should be plenty. Just if you did the lunges, just even them out. Perfect. And then we're looking up, looking down, rounding the spine, lowering all the way down. Lose the dumbbells. Plant the palms down on your mat. Okay, step back to your high plank. Control the knees down to the mat. And let's go for a child's pose variation. One more time, just to kind of settle things down. That was a lot of moving around, a lot of jumping. So maybe find total stillness or gently sway the body side to side. If you want to start to get some reaches into the mix, that might feel nice, like right hand reaching towards left corner or left hand reaching towards right corner. Awesome. And then we'll swing the legs around, give them a really nice shake on the mat. We'll bounce them up and down, shake out the arms. Beautiful. And then let's go for some rock and rolls. Been liking holding the dumbbells. Just really helps you smoothen out the roll. It acts as a nice counterweight. So you're going to roll into like a nice tight ball, roll back, roll forward. As smooth as possible. staying as compact as possible, which also helps kind of smoothen it out. It's a little harder to stay so tight together. It's a little easier if your knees come away from your chest, but with the weights, it's doable and it's not as rocky or bumpy. Beautiful. So we'll do 5 or 6 like that. And then once that feels complete, let's come all the way down onto our backs, re-arrive here. Let the whole body be nice and heavy. Take a few moments and gently rock the head from one side to the other. So you're on the back of the skull on the right, and then the back on the left, side to side, super gentle. And then you can also do it with your chin tilted slightly downwards and go back and forth. And then you can also do it with your chin tilted slightly back and go back and forth. Beautiful. And then let's go for right ankle over left thigh. Drive the right knee away from the face. And then gently figure 4 rock side to side. So my legs are just going over to the left, not letting my right shoulder blade come up, then over to the right, back and forth, continuing to drive the right knee away from my face. And then I'm going to let my legs go all the way to the left. Now that could mean they go all the way to the floor or they go all the way to a block, whatever you want. And that might mean that my right arm comes off the floor, like my right shoulder, or it might mean that it stays on the floor. Either way is fine. You're going to glide your right arm, it's palm up towards the ceiling, all the way up to 12, all the way down to 6, like it's the hand on a clock. So a little bit of like chest opening on the right and shoulder motion. Now, if it's crackling when you don't like it or it's painful to go with these angles, then just shorten the range. So you could just go from, you don't have to go all the way between 12 and 6. You can just make it a smaller range. And like I said, you can play with it with the shoulder hovering or the arm on the ground. It's really up to you. Trying to check in with the right side ribs, making sure they're not just totally flaring out of the body. And then we'll come up to center. We'll uncross. We'll do left ankle over right thigh. Gently rock the leg from side to side. Keep driving that left knee away from your face. See what that stretch feels like. And then the legs are going to go all the way to the right. They might come to a block or the floor. Left arm, palm up towards the ceiling, and then left arm is like the hand on a clock, gliding up and down. You're kind of deciding how much range you move it in. And then we'll come back to center and feel free to go for your happy baby or a different spinal twist or any other shape, position, adjustment that would feel good to you, help your practice feel complete. Maybe you want to circle the wrists a bit, or sometimes even just doing like a quad stretch can feel nice. Like whatever you need, whatever intuitively your body's asking for. And then invite your body to get even heavier, even softer. Get together any props or blankets or pillows or anything that you need. Sinking a little deeper into your mat. We'll take a few moments of stillness, letting all that work go, taking a few moments to integrate, just letting the body be. You can always feel free to stay here as long as you like. If you gotta make moves, we'll wiggle fingers and toes, rock the head a little bit, full body stretch it out. Roll around and over to one side. And we'll come together one more time. Reach the arms up nice and tall. Reach a little further. Float the palms together down through heart center. We'll bow forward in gratitude for practicing together this morning. It was so nice to see everyone. Let me know if you have questions on anything. Really nice job. And I'll see you next week.
Thanks, Jenna.